SuicideFantasyFootball.com, 2012 season, getting into the running backs and starting with our top 5. Jim, this time I'll start with my top 5. Gonna surprise everybody with my number 1, and I promise if you listen to our quarterback version, I called Mike Vick a bust. So this is not a homer pick. It's not because he's my buddy. LaShawn McCoy, to me, is the number 1 running back this year in fantasy football. He's got no question marks. He's going to be the guy. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get the catches out of the backfield, and I believe he's going to be the number 1 producing running back this year in fantasy football.
You don't think Deion Lewis is going to take time from him?
No. Number 2, I'm going with everybody else's number 1, Arian Foster. He worked through injuries last year to prove he's worthy of consideration for that number 1 pick. To me, he's just a little bit below McCoy. Number 3, Ray Rice. He is 40% of the Ravens' offense. I don't think that's going to change this year. I don't worry about injuries like other people do. He's a different kind of runner. He's still young. Worry about him later in this contract they just gave him, but not this year. Number 4, I gotta go Chris Johnson, and I know he was a bust for everybody last year. If you picked him, pick 3, pick 4. Don't feel like because you got burned last year, you can't grab him at number 9, 10, or 11 this year because he's going to be back to, I don't believe what Jim says, the 2,000-yard guy, but he's going to be back to an elite running back in the NFL. Number 5, Jim's definitely going to agree with this one. I love DeMarco Murray. I think DeMarco Murray is going to be the workhorse of the Cowboys, and I believe he's worthy of that 5th position in fantasy running backs.
Well, my number 1, I probably will tell you that nobody else is going to have him as their number 1 running back. I told you, it's Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson is my number 1 running back going into this year. I know he's got questions. Everybody has questions. He's going to be back to that huge season that he had 2 years ago. 2,000 yards. He's going to break the record. He's going to be the only one to repeat it as 2,000 yards. My number 2 guy, for your reasons like you just said, is LaShawn McCoy. I love LaShawn McCoy. I think he's going to have a great season. He's absolutely, definitely the only guy they're going to give the ball to. Deion Lewis is not going to get 50 carries all year long. Besides him getting hurt, that's the only thing that stops him from having a huge season.
Great.
Number 3, I go with Arian Foster. And everybody's going to kill you. Arian Foster. Here's why I put Arian Foster so far down. You have to handcuff Arian Foster with Ben Tate. If you want to pick Ben Tate, you're going to have to take him in the 4th or 5th round before somebody else takes him. So that means you're giving up a number 1 pick and a number 5 pick for a running back. And to me, that's too much to give up. It's too much of a risk. You're losing out in your depth at other positions later on in the draft. I'm not taking Arian Foster. He falls down. I would take him at number 3 if he's there, of course, but I'm not taking him high. Number 4, I got Ray Rice. He's a steady guy. I don't think he's going to be the 2,000-yard guy. If you're in a PPR league, he goes a little bit higher for me because he does catch it.
Total yards from scrimmage?
No, 2,000 rushing. He's never going to be that guy.
Agree.
You know, I don't know who they're going to give the goal line carries to this year. They never like to give him the Rice for some reason. They always bring somebody in. They could give him to the fullback. Who really knows? But I think he's still a stud. He's just not number 1 for me. And number 5, I agree. As much as I hate it, DeMarco Murray.
Wow, did not think you were going to agree with that, dude.
It's not real life. I can't stand the Cowboys. I hope they never win another game ever. But DeMarco Murray is a stud. He came out last year and showed so much. He had a little injury. It's not one of those.
It's a broken
it's a
leg,
bone.
a fractured
it's
leg.
It's not a knee. It's not something like that where you got to worry about it. I think he's hungry. I think he's going to. Felix Jones is still just passed his conditioning test today. For a running back to fail his conditioning test is ridiculous. For a guy like me, it's par for the course.
Sure.
But for a running back, it's ridiculous. So there's my 5. Chris Johnson, LaShawn McCoy, Arian Foster, Ray Rice, DeMarco Murray.
Tell us what you think. Jim at SuicideFantasySports.com, Eric at SuicideFantasySports.com. Subscribe to our videos below. Check us out on Twitter. We're SFF Insider. Facebook, we're Suicide Fantasy Football. And check out our radio show we do every Monday night on Blog Talk. From 8 to 9 o'clock, it's Fantasy Football Overload, where we give you all the info you need at one place. Check us out there.
More importantly, SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Join a league. Play against us. We will show you the revolution in fantasy sports.
We combine the one-and-done aspect of suicide pools with traditional fantasy football and stuttered doing it.